This is Pixie Hollow. You can see the different changes throughout the year. Light fairies summon the sun, melt the frozen earth. The wind fairy gathers the breeze, making the hot summer day a little cooler. The autumn fairy paints on the leaves of the trees. The colors of the harvest are everywhere. The snow fairies gather in groups, covering the trees with a thick blanket. Each fairy does his or her own job. Each fairy does his or her part. This day a dandelion floats in the wind. The fairy world welcomed a new member. The boy brought a cup of golden orange and sprinkled it on the dandelion. In the presence of many fairies, our Tinkerbell was born to welcome the new member. The fairy queen also rushed over. She picked up Tinkerbell's wings. The girl brightly choked and flew up. The next step was the sacred ceremony of catching the weak. Choose the profession you want to pursue. Each fairy took out an object symbolizing their profession. They were placed on the top of the stage. Tinkerbell chose the garden fairy, but as soon as her fingers touched the petals, they immediately withered. It seems that this occupation is not suitable for her. Next was the water fairy that nourishes the earth. But looking at this situation, water fairies are also not suitable. Not only that, wind fairy token also rejected her. Tinkerbell continued on her way. She's not interested in the Tinker Fairy, but the hammer seems to have chosen her, with the idea of giving it a try. Tinkerbell took hold of the hammer. The light around her instantly shone brightly. A dazzling golden light was emitted. Look at the expressions of the fairies around. They knew this was a sign of talent. The queen then took away the object that grabbed the weak. The Tinkerbell fairy was born, but looking at her own kind of fairies, Tinkerbell could not be happy. This was not quite what she had expected. Luckily, the two were very welcoming. Tinkerbell was given a tour of the workplace. I have to say, fairies are pretty miserable. As soon as she was born, she became a social animal. Fortunately, the unit has an assigned house. Not so much pressure. After a period of life, Tinkerbell made a lot of friends. However, the happy days did not last long. Life has changed. This day after seeing Vidya, Tinkerbell greeted her warmly, but the arrogant wind fairy had a disdainful face.
I am a fast-flying fairy, a true rare talent. I make breezes in the summer, blow down leaves in the fall. I make forces of nature. You make pots and—
Tinkerbell left with a lost face. Soon it was time for the seasons to change. The fairies were getting ready for spring. Tinkerbell found the fairy queen. Tinkerbell wanted to prove that she could do something for everyone. She took out the acorn opener she had made, but it didn't seem to work too well. A polite smile relieved the embarrassment. Then came the flower sprayer. Tinkerbell demonstrated it despite everyone's objections. Seeing that she wanted to take other inventions, the queen rushed to birth to stop, and asked her why she was doing it. Tinkerbell said she also wanted to go to the human continent, to be part of the seasonal rotation, but these were the nature fairies in charge. The Tinker fairies were the logisticians. She had to stay in the Elven Valley. Tinkerbell was not discouraged. She found her friend and sought a change of career. Narcissus taught her to gather water balls to provide dew for the plants, but Tinkerbell can't finish, and made everyone into a soup. The Light Fairy taught her to light up the tails of fireflies, but lit up his own buttocks. In desperation, Tinkerbell finds the Animal Fairy. Tinkerbell tried to learn to tame the animals, but the newborn bird saw her. He shivered and hid in the corner. He wanted to leave this terrible world. Seeing this situation, Tinkerbell began to use words to persuade him. Tinkerbell told the little bird that he had to learn to fly, otherwise he couldn't go to the human continent. But no matter what Tinkerbell said, the little bird still wanted to hide in his shell. When softness doesn't work, hardness does. After some tussles in the nest, Tinkerbell still couldn't make it. The bird went back into the eggshell. Just when she was at her wit's end, she saw the bird's mother hovering in the air. He wanted to go over and ask for help, but he flew in and found a vicious eagle. The sentry fairy blows the horn. Nearby fairies hid in the bomb shelter. Tinkerbell fled frantically and hid inside the tree hole, but Wind Fairy's Vi was inside with low pressure. Seeing the huge monster outside, Wind Fairies rushed away, but the back of Tinkerbell hid out. This attracted the attention of the eagle. Luckily, other fairies arrived in time, worked together to fight off the eagle. Tinkerbell went up to apologize, but the arrogant Wind Fairy had never received such a grievance. She flew away in a huff. After the last few days of trying, Tinkerbell felt that he was useless. She went to the beach alone to relax. She accidentally found a broken octave box. She used her talent as an artisan fairy. After a lot of efforts, she finally restored it to its original state. This scene was seen by the sisters. They all think Tinkerbell is amazing. They encourage her to do her job. But Tinkerbell is determined to become a nature fairy. She was desperate and found Vidya. She wants her to become a wind fairy. Vidya said no, but on second thought, why not take this opportunity to tease her? Let Tinkerbell catch the prickly grass. Tell her that getting rid of them would be a great achievement. Then the queen would surely agree to the transfer. Tinkerbell builds a fence to catch the prickly weeds. Then she'll get on her mount. She set off in the direction of the thorny heads. Soon she found two spiny grasses and drove them into the fence. fence, but Vidya turned around and let them out. Unaware of this, Tinkerbell got more and more excited. Soon a large group of prickly grasses had gathered. When they broke through the fence, towards the direction of the Elven Valley, the army of stingers was huge. Everywhere they went, they were a mess. The fairies' preparations for spring. All the preparations the fairies had made for spring were in ruins. Looking at the mess she had made, Tinkerbell was ashamed. She took it upon herself to admit her mistake to the queen. But what was the point of apologizing? The dormice were coming. I'm afraid that spring will be delayed this year. In order to come up with a solution, the Fairy Queen called the 4 ministers of spring, summer, autumn and winter to discuss the next course of action. Is it melt that the seedlings will grow? The fruit will ripen them. In the autumn, there will be nothing to harvest. Spring must happen on time, or the balance of nature will be undone. Then the Minister of Craftsmanship arrived. The crowd asked how long the work would take. After learning that it would be impossible to finish on time, everyone was very frustrated. They had to gather everyone, announced the heartbreaking news. As soon as the words were spoken, Tinkerbell said she had a solution. She went to a Tinker Fairy, asking her how long it takes to spray a ladybug. I don't know, Ted, 15 minutes I guess. Tinkerbell finds a ladybug. Tinkerbell gets out the spray can and sprays the color, and then put on the black spots. The ladybug spraying was soon done. The whole process took less than 5 seconds. She asked the queen, can make more of these spray cans? Seeing Tinkerbell in the limelight, Vidya was not happy. She accused Tinkerbell of making a mess.
Oh, yippee! Tinkerbell's gonna save us with her dopey little doohickeys. Hide the squirrels.
What is your problem, Vidya?
Maybe I should have told you to capture the hawk instead of the thistles.
Vidya realizes she has blurted out. The queen came up to her, punishing her for capturing the thistless, and Tinkerbell continued to encourage everyone to use the tools they had made. The fairies responded in droves. She told the fairies to divide and conquer, to find objects discarded by humans, and then use these materials to create a variety of tools. Everything was ready. With the help of advanced tools, the efficiency of the fairies was greatly enhanced, thanks to the efforts of all of them. The original workload of several months was reduced to a few days. Finally, all the work was completed on the eve of the dawn of the year. The queen looked at the restoration of everything as before. To Tinkerbell, she praised. You saved spring. The sisters proposed to the queen. Let Tinkerbell also go to the human continent once, but she refused. My work is here, and I still have so much to do. Then the little mouse came up, carrying the repaired Octavo on his back. The minister proposed that Tinkerbell be returned to its original owner. Now she has the task of going to the human world. At the queen's command, a group of fairies headed for the human world. Minister Spring directed everyone to split up. At the head of the group were the light fairies. They brought sunlight to melt the frozen earth. The animal fairies open the box. Ladybugs fly out in a rush. The flower fairies sow seeds on the earth. The water fairies follow and gather water from the lake. The first rain of spring falls in the air. Spring returns to the earth and everything comes back to life. The whole world is full of life. The fairies have finished their work. Next it was Tinkerbell's turn. She placed the box in front of the window of a house. The little girl opened the window and found the repaired toy. Seeing her happy face, Tinkerbell was also very happy.
Please subscribe, like, and ring the notification bell for more amazing contents like this one.